You can have a background in criminal justice and still get caught. Ted Bundy had a background studying to be a lawyer. He got caught. His good lawyering and shit like that didn't keep him from getting in the chair. What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. It's your girl B Octavia, and I am back with another video. So today will be a complete rundown of the slain college student story in Idaho. Like I told y'all previously, I will get better with being prompt, but some things you do have to wait for. Some things do take time as far as an investigation, and I'm not going to portray myself as the investigator as a lot of people do. YouTubers and TikTokers worldwide are being sued for painting false narratives about this crime and other crimes. It's levels to it. So when talking about murder, you can't always think about your YouTube channel or your TikTok page performing better if you keep going with this type of content. At the end of the day, it does more for you than it does for the actual victims, and it is very insensitive. So with me waiting, I see it as me paying respect to the families, to the victims. They have all been buried, and their families are going through a very difficult time. So without further ado, and past my disclaimer, let's jump right into the video. In the early morning hours of November 12th, 4 young college students, 3 females and 1 male, were stabbed to death, and there was no suspect for more than 6 weeks. There are quite a few colleges right in that vicinity. Students began to pull out and go home to their families. Nobody felt safe. There was much speculation about the unharmed 2 other roommates that they were sleeping in the basement. There was speculation about them having some involvement or possibly setting this whole massacre up. There was also talks of neighbors having possible involvement because prior to these murders, neighbors were calling in noise complaints due to the college students partying often, loud music, etc. And like I stated, the 2 unharmed roommates were downstairs. They slept through the attack, and the victims in this whole scenario were occupying the 2nd floor and the 3rd floor. The victims were discovered deceased the next morning, November 13th, at almost 12 p.m. The first call was placed for an unconscious person. The 2 roommates had came upstairs. They tried to wake their roommates up verbally, not going over and shaking them or anything like that. But they thought that, okay, the roommates are exhausted from the night before. So once the roommates called their friends over and the friends came, they're like, okay, this is a good time to wake them all up. They'll sure get up now. And that is when the tragedy was discovered. Ethan Chapin, age 20, Madison Mogan, age 21, Xana Kernodle, age 20, and Kaylee Goncalves, age 21, got home around 1:45-ish and were all murdered between 3 and 4 a.m. The only male in this case didn't live there. He spent the night with his girlfriend, and that's just a tragedy within itself too. As all of the victims' families held visuals and pleaded for answers from the public, it might have seemed like police are just as clueless as all of us. But they slowly but surely started to drop information that would lead to a suspect. On Wednesday, December 7th, police stated that they were looking to speak with the driver of a white 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra. This vehicle was said to be seen in the immediate area of the victim's house, and it was said to be in that area on the night of November 12th and very, very early on November 13th, coinciding with when the victims got home to when they were murdered. As the days inched on from December the 7th, December the 13th hit the 1 month mark of these 4 college students' murders. And of course, one huge question that the public had was, okay, is this case cold yet? And the police came out and responded with, no, this case is not cold. They stated that they are closely analyzing information and evidence from the scene of the crime, while also protecting the integrity of the case. I do understand when police come out and say that they have to keep a lot of things private. You know, they have to keep a lot of things on a hush and hush because people just take one thing and run with it. I even seen that people were painting a narrative about one of the female victims' boyfriend or ex-boyfriend or on and off boyfriend, that he was possibly the killer. And it's like, you can't be doing stuff like that. You know, you can't be tarnishing strangers' image or character just because you want the way you view it to seem believable. 17 days after telling the public to not lose hope and to call in helpful tips, police made an arrest of the person they believe is responsible for all 4 college students' murders. 28-year-old Brian Kohlberger was arrested after being tracked down in the Pennsylvania Pocono Mountains. Now, he was with his father, and I'm going to tell you about the family. I'm going to tell you about Brian's family and what they said and how I feel about that, because that was a slap in the face. Brian is a graduate student. He received his PhD in criminal justice. He should smack himself in the face for that, because you failed this mission. He studied criminal justice in Pullman, Washington, roughly 10 miles away from the university where the college students attended. And also, from his school to the victim's house, that's like a 15-minute drive. The suspect's family gives off very, very weird vibes, and we're not at all sympathetic to, it's not about, okay, sympathetic to these people because your son caused it. It's like, you could at least be sympathetic that these kids lost their lives, you know? But no, that's not what it's given. They came out and said that they have a presumption of innocence, which, you know what? We do say innocent until proven guilty. That fraction of it is correct, right? But DNA didn't put him where the murders happened. He didn't know them from a can of paint. How would you see that still as innocence? It had to be tied to him in some type of way. You know, they don't just pick somebody's name out the hat type of thing. But look at him. I don't even want to see what the whole family look like, because look at him. Did he think he was Ted Bundy or something? I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to understand if he thought he was Ted Bundy, if that's what he wanted to be. And I'm going to make a little commonality right now, okay? The way I look at this is with Jeffrey Dahmer trending for several different reasons. I mean, people just making content, making jokes about stuff like that, and, you know, acting as if they are Jeffrey. And I feel like it's a microscope on serial killers. And honestly, it will never be another Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy. They did it, and they were extinguished for it. And to think that you would have the same type of evil success is just baffling to me. It's actually quite funny because these are not the same times that those guys came up in. Everything has advanced so much where you can have a background in criminal justice and still get caught. Just like Ted Bundy had a background studying to be a lawyer. It's the same thing. He got caught, and his good lawyering and shit like that didn't keep him from getting the fucking chair. This Brian guy, he didn't get as far as Ted, Jeffrey, whoever, right? From back in the day. But the times is different. You watching too many documentaries from back then, when DNA wasn't advanced, when they didn't have a whole system where you put your motherfucking thumbprint down and it could just get pulled up from a computer. And honestly, I find it to be no coincidence that Ted Bundy took up being a lawyer and this guy took up being on the criminal justice side. It's just a different angle as a means to get away with it, as a means to do it as many times as you want to, or how many ever people you want to, and just get away with it. But come on now. Come on. I mean, all of them were so young. It's like, even if you have certain disdain for people, if they younger than you, let them live their life. You a whole 28 years old. You done lived out your early 20s. He looked like a wannabe Ted Bundy. He don't have the Ted Bundy eyebrows and eyes. But this definitely is giving copycat of Ted Bundy's crimes. At least some of them, with the college students and the sorority and all that. You didn't have to do that. Like, come on now. And right around the time of Thanksgiving, right around the time of Christmas, all of these different families are mourning. That's not right. If they have the chair, give him that. Because that lethal shit, I don't know if that's going to work fast enough. Some of the lethal injections should be malfunctioning. Okay? Put him in a chair and roast him. Roast his ass. And I want to see people like him. He do remind me of like a cold type of Jeffrey Dahmer, in a way where his look is just blank. And it's like, them the type of people that make you want to steal the shit out them, because it's like, feel something or look like you feel something. Like, how are you like that? How have you lived 28 years being like an alien almost? Like, you just look weird. You just, without even saying a word, you're creeping me out. Without even saying a word, you weird. Fuck your family who raised you. Fuck any of your friends. Anybody that still rock with you and take your jailhouse phone calls. You shouldn't make none. Just bad shit crazy. He crazy to even think that he would get away with some shit like that. Come on now. And I'm glad that, like, a lot of people wouldn't say that a month is, you know, good time. But think about it like this. There are still hundreds and thousands of murders that are unsolved. You know, there are thousands and millions of cold cases that probably will never see a resolution. A month is no time compared to, let's say, 20, 25, 30, 35 years, you know, of no movement at all. So I think that people gotta just slow down and stop looking at their phones for the coverage of this, because I ain't even gonna lie to you, like, I don't want to hear that shit. I don't really look at too many YouTubers because all of them are doing the same thing, and it's overdoing it. It's to the point where you want me to take your coverage as facts when I could look at a different video from a different person and it'd be a totally different, like, it's just like, Stop making narratives of one situation. And stop trying to profit. If I hear another person doing promo in the middle of a murder, of a video where you talking about murder, I'm going to spaz. Don't nobody want to buy no shit right now. And we talking about death. Stop it. Stop doing that. It's so insensitive. You know, if you got to put on a full face of makeup as well. I'm talking about full face. I be seeing all these things. Full face, lip, foundation, all this shit. Just to talk about murder, grieving. You. It's 2023. You know, we on that. We on that. Show your true self when talking about real shit. And the real gonna flock to the real. So, without further ado, it's your girl B Octavia, and I will see y'all in my next video. Yeah.